Okay, this week we are coming full circle and we are going to talk about why anthropology is useful at all. So let's talk about applied anthropology. Applied anthropology uses the theories, methods, and ethnographic findings of anthropology to solve human problems. Today, most applied anthropologists are practitioners who use cross-cultural knowledge and anthropological methods for research and action around the world, not only from a university base. Practicing anthropologists are found in all business, government, health, education, and human services domains. They can work for congressmen, in hospitals, school districts, research and consulting firms, or even state and local governments. They are often researchers, but more and more they don't just study problems. These anthropologists are often administrators, program directors, and even business owners. They craft and manage solutions. Applied and practicing anthropologists confront a ton of special challenges. They are called on to offer the anthropological perspective, a view of humanity that is grounded in a tradition of cross-cultural scholarship and action. They can work in teams with other professionals, and they must communicate across disciplines. Applied and practicing anthropologists build bridges between cultural worlds. They may make videos or write explanations of policy or research for a lay audience. These anthropologists blend respect for cultural difference and awareness of common humanity. So, combined with interdisciplinary research methods, they can help make policies, programs, and plans that improve human well-being around the world. Applied anthropology refers to the application of anthropological data, perspectives, theory, and methods to identify, assess, and solve problems. Anthropologists have held three views about applying anthropology. The ivory tower view contends that anthropologists should avoid practical matters and focus on research, publication, and teaching. The schizoid view holds that anthropologists should carry out but not make or criticize policy. And the advocacy view argues that since anthropologists are experts on human problems and social change, they should make policy affecting people. They should identify locally perceived needs for change. They should work with those people to design culturally appropriate and socially sensitive change, and they should protect people from harmful development schemes. So that's the advocacy view. These professional anthropologists do work for a wide variety of employers, including tribal and ethnic associations, governments, non-government organizations, and so on. So given that they work for a wide variety of employers, which one of these views do you think is more valid? And I really would like you to consider these views when you're doing the discussion this week. Where do you fall on this view about applying anthropology? Interestingly enough, applied anthropology had its origins during World War II. During World War II, anthropologists worked for the U.S. government to study Japanese and German culture from a distance. Anthropology's ethnographic method, its holism, and systematic perspective make it uniquely valuable in application to social problems. Applied anthropologists are more likely to focus on a local grassroots perspective in approaching a problem than to consult with officials and experts. According to a study of PhDs conducted by the American Anthropological Association, non-academic employment of anthropologists peaked at 51% in 1986. So 51% of anthropologists were employed in non-academic settings, and that was 2 decades ago. Nope, 3 decades ago. In the early 1990s, about 1 in 3 new graduates in U.S. anthropology departments found employment outside of academia, and this trend seems to be continuing. According to the American Anthropological Association's annual questionnaire of PhDs, in the early 2000s, 29% of them found non-academic employment. There are more non-academic career opportunities available to PhD anthropologists currently than there are jobs in the academy itself. And when we talk about the academy, we're talking about primarily universities. So according to these figures, applied anthropology accounted for an average of 7% of new PhDs awarded in the United States, with cultural at 53%, archaeology at 26%, and biological or physical at 12%, and linguistic at 1%. It's important to consider, though, that fewer practicing anthropologists receive specific training in applied anthropology itself than in sociocultural anthropology as a whole. So it's not something we're training people in, even though there's a ton of anthropologists who are apparently doing it. Practicing Anthropology was first published in 1978 by the Society for Applied Anthropology as an attempt to voice the concerns of practicing anthropologists, to bridge the gap between practicing and academic anthropologists, to encourage the use of anthropology in policy research and implementation, and to serve as a forum for dialogue about the present state and future of anthropology. Applied anthropologists find themselves in a host of careers with multifaceted job descriptions. Though the most frequent role of that is that of researcher, applied anthropologists are often also implementers, mediators, coordinators, administrators, evaluators, activists, and cultural and political motivators. Traditional areas of applied anthropology include health, education, international development, and newer areas include legal planning, energy policy, housing, and welfare reform. Applied anthropologists can work in a number of settings, as short or long-term consultants, as full-time government employees, for advocacy-oriented private businesses, in academic institutions, or as collaborators at the local level. Jobs available to applied anthropologists are usually also available to other social scientists. For example, consultant, social science analyst, project leader, associate coordinator, finance officer, placement specialist, associate consultant, program evaluator, educational specialist, director of research, and contracts administrator. So many different job opportunities are out there. There are two major types of anthropological practice: intervention anthropology and policy research. So when we're talking about intervention anthropology, these combine the approaches of action anthropology, so a value-specific strategy with the goals of community self-determination in mind. This also includes research and development anthropology, so research-based participant intervention. It includes community development, so this is self-help group action through community participation and voluntary cooperation. It also includes advocacy anthropology, so facilitating community-based action through providing data and technical assistance. It includes cultural brokerage, so linking people of co-equal socio-cultural systems through an individual, so they really kind of serve as mediators. And it includes social marketing. So this is a research-based strategy that combines commercial marketing with applied social science to assist people to change to beneficial behaviors. So lots of different kind of work done in intervention anthropology. Other anthropological practice includes policy research. This combines the methods of social impact assessment. So what they do is they collect socio-cultural community data for use by developmental planners, and looks at evaluation research that determines the success of a project. It looks at technology development research and acts as a communication link between producers and users in new technology. And we also see policy research in cultural resource assessment, so identifying the impact of federal development on archaeological sites and historic buildings. I actually used to do this kind of policy research before I had a ton of children and stopped being able to work 60 hours a week. And there are numerous examples of how each subfield is represented in applied employment. So archaeologists are found working in the National Park Service with forest, fisheries, and parks, and in what's called cultural resource management. Cultural resource management refers to excavations or survey done to gather as much data as possible from sites threatened by construction or other projects. Some forensic anthropologists rely on techniques of archaeology to assist in medical and legal cases. Linguistic anthropologists may design bilingual educational programs. Forensic anthropologists also rely on some techniques of physical anthropology. So they really use physical anthropology and archaeology to assist in these medical and legal cases. The bulk of the applied positions are in cultural anthropology. Cultural anthropologists frequently consult with other professionals to facilitate the extension of health, economic, and other services to various populations. In particular, anthropology has helped facilitate the accommodation of cultural differences in classroom settings. Examples include English as a second language taught to Spanish-speaking students. Different cultural-based reactions to various pedagogical techniques and the application of linguistic relativism in the classroom to Black English vernacular. So there are a lot of different ways that educators can be useful, or anthropologists can be useful in education. Human populations are becoming increasingly urban, so cultural anthropology looks at urbanization. Various instances of urban social forms are given as examples. Medical anthropology is both academic, meaning theoretical, and applied, meaning practical. So medical anthropology is the study of disease and illness in their sociocultural context. And disease is a scientifically defined ailment. However, illness is an ailment as experienced and perceived by the sufferer. So the spread of certain diseases like malaria have been associated with population growth and economic development. So anthropologists can help understand this. So there's three basic theories about the causes of illnesses, and some theories, personalistic theories, blame illnesses on agents such as sorcerers, witches, ghosts, or ancestral spirits. Naturalistic disease theories explain illness in impersonal terms, like Western biomedicine, and emotionalistic disease theories assume emotional experiences. So anthropologists can really help societies with healthcare systems to combine all of these beliefs and make more sense of healthcare. We also see anthropologists in business. They study, through studying institutions such as business, anthropologists have identified the process of what's called micro-enculturation, through which people in finite systems learn their specific roles. So most recently, there was a cross-cultural study of business practices that has become more important. So the study of Japanese business techniques and its application to U.S. business per se. And because of its breadth, a degree in anthropology can provide a flexible basis for many other careers with appropriate planning. So government. Anthropologists work professionally with USAID, USDA, the World Bank, other voluntary organizations. We have a crucial role to play in promoting a more humanistic vision of social change, one that respects the value of cultural diversity. The existence of anthropology is itself a tribute to the continuing need to understand social and cultural similarities and differences. So hopefully the films you watch this week will help elucidate this a little bit more. I know that the Anthropologists at Work video is very dated in terms of what people are wearing and certainly the era, but the techniques they use and the questions they seek to answer really are very, very relevant to what applied anthropologists are doing today. So enjoy the films. I look forward to reading your papers, and I will see you in class.